All right, welcome back to eSIM Studios. Today's video is brought to you by Just Jamaica. If you go to justjamaica.com or to your iOS and or Android app store, download Just Jamaica. It's your personal Jamaica travel guide app, and by IMEI City. Don't let the carriers and or manufacturers lock down your phone. IMEI City now gives you just as much power as they do. You can lock and unlock any phone. Now, let's get into the news. So, we have some big news in the Android world. This news, I saw this morning. It's got me very excited. So, I put out a community post maybe, I don't know, a week or two ago, and I was like, you know how cool it would be to have a Pixel device running on the new Snapdragon flagship CPU, right? The Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. How badass would that be? Well, little did I know, they make third party software for Pixel devices, right? So it's basically a de-Googled software. It's basically the Pixel OS. It's like running a stock Android minus the Google services, Google Play services that's always communicating with Google services. They take all that off of your phone and you can basically run Android. Now, there's an option to add Google Play Store. You can use the third party app stores. And if you use the Google Play Store, you can put the apps in like a sandbox, which basically shields it from Google Play, well, it shields Google Play services and your device. So it separates them so it's not communicating as much. Or you can go completely Google-less, right? So they've run into a roadblock recently where Google is restricting a lot of their software now. They're locking down a lot of their software. Unfortunately, they're turning into Apple. As I cannot believe we're headed in this direction, but it's caused GrapheneOS to run into some roadblocks because Google is now not releasing their binaries and or some of the base code for Android, and GrapheneOS depended on that base code to formulate their custom ROM, right? Their custom software that you could flash on Pixels. And Google basically did that on purpose, made it more restrictive, made it more locked down. And GrapheneOS kind of ran into a roadblock because now they can't source their code. They basically, it's like if you're a chef, right? Google and or Android is the final ingredient. However, how can you make the final ingredient if the chef is not getting all of the ingredients, right? You're missing a flour and you're trying to bake a cake. That's not even possible, right? That's sort of like what was happening here. So we got news that GrapheneOS is going to circumvent these issues, and I think this is a very smart decision, and I know it has a lot of people excited, just like myself. So GrapheneOS is going to release their very own phone. That's correct, their very own phone. And they did mention it's going to be running on the latest flagship Snapdragon CPU. So now that they're going to release their own phone, let's imagine. So it's basically going to be stock Android on the latest Snapdragon CPU. How badass is that? It's going to be like my dream phone, a Pixel with a Snapdragon CPU. So GrapheneOS can actually go get the code if they're a manufacturer. So companies like Samsung, companies like Xiaomi, companies like OnePlus, get all of their source code, their binaries, the kernel, all of that stuff from Google and from the CPU manufacturer, and then they can formulate their custom OS and put out their custom phone. That's exactly what GrapheneOS is going to do. So this has me very excited. It's sort of like how when Nothing started their company, how I got very excited. When OnePlus first came in the game about, 10, 12 years ago. It's sort of like that. Now, we heard GrapheneOS is going to use a current mainstream manufacturer for the hardware. So I've heard some rumors behind the scenes that a potential partner could be OnePlus, could be Xiaomi. Now, both of those have me very excited. I hope they lean towards OnePlus. But if it was Xiaomi, look, it's not a deal breaker. Would it look like a current phone today? Probably. Now, will it be a OnePlus 15 basically on the outside, just rebranded as GrapheneOS, or I guess shall I say Graphene? Maybe. We don't know if they're going to get a custom look, meaning is it going to look different than the OnePlus 15, or will it just be a OnePlus 15 with GrapheneOS in it? We have no idea. I think that's kind of still too early to tell. But either way, it's going to be awesome. Right now, when they bring this to consumers to purchase, is it going to be a de-Googled GrapheneOS? We don't know as well. Or is it going to be fully support Android and Google services? So we don't know. But if I had to guess, if I had to bet on it, I think it's going to be somewhere in between. And I hope they let you essentially choose if you want very, very minimal Google Play services or a full-on Google Play services. I have a hard time believing GrapheneOS, which they've gotten popular by de-Googling these Pixel phones. I have a hard time believing they're just going to be full-on Google Play services, meaning like it's going to be just like a OnePlus phone, right? Because they support Google Play services and have all those Play services running in the background just as a Samsung would or a Nothing phone would, right? I think it's going to be somewhere in between. Now, I don't think they can get away with putting out a de-Googled phone. However, it's certainly possible, right? So, either way, I'm going to grab one of these things. Either way, I'm going to get one. Now, obviously, there's some behind the scenes stuff that we're not privy to, just don't have knowledge of their deals. As I mentioned, the manufacturer, we don't know who they're going to go with. Hopefully it's OnePlus, but if it's Xiaomi, not a bad thing. I'm just interested to see what the final product is going to look like. Look, we know it's going to look like a GrapheneOS operating system, which is basic stock Android, and I love stock Android, which is even different from what a Pixel phone sort of looks like. So Pixel doesn't really have a Pixel OS. It's technically, I guess, stock Android, but not really stock Android. Good news, GrapheneOS putting out their very own phone. Cannot wait to grab one of these. I'm excited no matter what they put out. So they are shooting for a 2026, potentially 2027, but I think a 2026 device, because they did mention the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, and at that point we're the 8 Elite Gen 5, the very first device, just launched on the Xiaomi 17 series, and OnePlus 15 is literally, I think, just about a month away. So that appears to be a fantastic CPU. So stay tuned to the channel. I'll definitely keep you updated on this story. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Peace.